Hey everyone, I am Manoj Kumar and today I will be talking about business studies for class 12, keeping in mind the preparation for your board exams. To begin with, let me make it very clear that priority wise, the business studies comes third on the list. Normally, what our experience is that students devote maximum time on accountancy. Once they are done with that, they take up economics, and if at the end of the day they still have time, they go for business studies. This is the general trend unless one is specifically interested in business studies. Now, let us assume that someone intends to score full marks in accountancy, and for scoring full marks in accountancy, how much study hours one is required to put in. So if for accountancy, for full marks in accountancy, one is required to, let us assume, devote 100 hours, study hours. To score full marks in economics, one is required to study 50 hours, half of what one spends on accountancy. And in business studies, one is required to put in merely 25 hours, which is 1/4 of the accountancy and half of the economics. What I am trying to focus on is, with least effort, in business studies you can score full marks, very good marks. Now, one of the problems in business studies is that most of the questions are application based. Nearly 60% plus questions are application based. When we say application based, what we mean to say is they are case studies. That is how the subject is taught in higher classes, in higher education. All the concepts, all the chapters are taught through case studies. These case studies can be also said to be a kind of short story, a narrative, like you have reading passage in English language, unseen passage, something which you have not seen or read. It is there in front of your eyes for the first time. So how do you approach those unseen passages in English language? You go through the passage, you go through it once again and once again, then try to find out what it is trying to say. Similarly, in business studies, in case studies, what you are required to do is go through it, read between the lines. If you are not able to grasp what is being talked about, you are required to reread it once, twice, thrice. And during this reading process, something, some concept, some issue, some topic will reflect at the back of your mind that look, this passage is talking about business environment, this passage is talking about recruitment or selection or whatever, principles of management. So, and another problem is in business studies, the reading materials are 100% textual. There is no diagram, there is no table, there is no numericals other than one part in financial management, where we solve earnings per share. So, one has to go through the sentences, the passage thoroughly. Try to read between the lines, and believe me, in your NCERT book, all the topics have many examples, not only from the business, but from our everyday life as well. Now, what are the course contents? As you are aware, there are two books. In one book, we have Nature and Significance of Management, we have Principles of Management, and we have Business Environment. These three are different chapters. Nature and Significance of Management, then Principles of Management, and then we have Business Environment. 1, 2, 3, chapters 1, 2, 3. And next 5 chapters are all functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And this book has the contents which you have never come across. You have never read about management, you have never read about principles of management in your previous classes. You might have heard or read something about the business environment. And then we have the 5 functions of management as I named them earlier. In the second book, we have to read about financial management, we have to read about financial market, another chapter is marketing management, and the last chapter is consumer protection. Now, for the purpose of your preparation, the contents of the NCERT book is more than enough. If you have read the NCERT book thoroughly, every sentence, every passage, you are not required to read anything more. But when it comes to questions, the number of questions in NCERT book, the variety of questions, their scope is very limited. You can't score good marks by merely working out the questions given at the end of the NCERT book. For that, you need a supplementary book. Please let me make it clear once again that for the contents, for the topics, whatever is given in NCERT book is more than enough. If you have read all of them thoroughly, you don't require any other additional reading material. But when it comes to questions, its variety, scope, as well as the number is very limited. So you require one supplementary book, and there are many of those books in the market. You can have any one of them from any one of the standard publication. In your school or in your coaching classes, you must have got the class notes given by your teachers. That is basically this summarized portion of the contents. Then there are books. I would advise all of you to go through the contents and ferret out the key words, key sentences, key paragraphs on your own. Make your own notes by reading the book, by taking out the finer points, the important points which will enable you to recollect the whole concept, the whole topic, the whole content. you are required to go through the questions of previous years. In board exam, you are required to work out sample papers. And then there are 1 mark questions, 3, 4 and 6 marks questions. This year there would be no 5 marks questions. So 1, 3, 4 and 6 marks questions, they have word limits. They have word limits, meaning thereby that you are required to be brief, precise and to the point. That is one of the instructions in the question paper. You have to be brief, precise and to the points. 6 marks questions have to be answered in 200 words maximum. When we say 200 words, we can say that we are required to write 4 paragraphs for the longest answer, right? You must have wrote messages, notice in English language, and the word limit is 50 words. So that should be your reference point, that one passage 50 words, like it is in notice or message writing in English language. And for the longest answer, you are required to put in your contents in 4 paragraphs, not more than that. When the word limit is 200, plus minus of 10% is okay. If it is 220 words or if it is 180 words, it will make no difference. But it should not be much longer than 200 words or much shorter than 200 words, right? Now, while approaching application-based questions, what happens is sometimes we get confused. And if in first reading of the case studies in application-based questions, let us assume that one chapter, one topic comes to your mind, that fine, this is talking about planning. Wait before you start writing. Hold on. Reread it and get confirmed that yes, this is talking about planning only. If it is not done in 2 readings, then go for 3rd reading. And if you are not able to make out what is being talked about in the given passage, in the given case studies, in that case, you just read and reread it. Somewhere, some word, some sentence will make you recall and remember what topic, what content is being talked about. The most difficult task is to comprehend what is being asked. क्या पूछा जा रहा है? It is very important to understand this. Unless one comprehends what is being asked, I am not going to write correct answer. So through that reading, rereading, again rereading, you will be able to comprehend what is being asked. And once you are able to make out what is being asked, your answers will be correct, right? Then we have 1, 3, 4 and 6 marks questions. You should put your maximum focus on answering 1 mark questions. Maximum time should be devoted in answering 1 mark questions. Find 1 mark questions from wherever you can. There are many question banks. If you are reading from ABC book, go for XYZ book by another author, PQR by another author. You are required to work out as many 1-mark questions as possible. Why I am saying this? There are 21-mark questions now. And if in an answer sheet in boards, one has scored 20 out of 20, then that student is sure to score 95 plus. If it is 10, then that student does not go beyond 50-60 marks. So what happens in 1-mark questions? 1-mark questions revise, cement, concretize your concept. And it will also enable you to comprehend the application of that concept. So concept and application of that concept, both will become crystal clear. If you will just recall that in some 1-mark questions, you are not required to read the full questions. Just by reading half of the question, the answer will come to your mind. But in some 1-mark questions, one reading will not do. You will have to reread it and then try to comprehend what is being talked about over here. That's why I said if someone scores 15 plus marks out of 21-mark questions, he or she is going to get good marks. If it is 15 plus, that student is going to get very good marks. And if it is 20 out of 20, the score is bound to exceed 95. So, you need to focus most on 1-mark question. If you have got the ability to answer 1-mark questions, then 3, 4 and 6 marks questions will get resolved on their own. You are not required to put in any additional effort, right? And it will also help you comprehend the case studies because your concepts are clear, you know how to apply those applications. I will try to give another analogy. In mathematics in class 10, there is linear equation in 2 variables. Now it is solved through trial and error method. It is solved through graphical method. And it is also solved through cross multiplication method. And then there are word problems. There are statements, and then you are required to convert those statements into equation, and then you work it out. So those word problems, if you can do that in linear equation in 2 variables in mathematics, it means that you have understood all the concepts and their application, which enables you to convert those statement based questions, word problems into equations, and then you are able to work it out, right? So similarly, if you are thorough with concepts, you know how to apply them, then case studies would not pose any problem for you. And as I said earlier, in relation to accountancy and economics, in terms of the study hours you need to devote, with least effort you can score very good marks in business studies. So please try to bring business studies book on the table on a regular basis. Study it for fixed hours regularly. Practice answering questions in the word limits given, and all this will help you score very good marks in business studies. In my next videos, I will be taking up different chapters one by one, and then try to work out a regimen, a work schedule which will help you prepare in such a way that you are able to score very good marks in business studies. Right? I hope I have been able to put the entire perspective, the entire picture in the right frame, and you have got some hints on how to go about preparing for business studies for your boards exam. Thank you.